My name is Brian Kithinji-Njoka. I'm a construction project manager by profession, and I am an assistant registrar for the Architectural Association of Kenya, CPM chapter. And today I'm going to be talking about safe and healthy construction practices. So let's begin by what is safe. So safe is protecting from danger for any occupants in the construction industry during and post-construction. And healthy is taking care of the well-being of any occupants and the constructors during, pre and during occupancy of any construction projects. So when it comes to safe and healthy construction practices, there are a number of things we need to focus on and factor. And I believe that we can start this from the beginning of any construction project, which is in the inception and budgeting stage of any construction project. So say you want to put up a residential house, an apartment, a commercial center, a road, whatever it is. Do not just think about the end result, but also think about the safety of the end result and what will happen during the construction phase of the works. From design, how do you design your property? Do you design your property, say, beacon to beacon? Which means that, for example, when you're loading materials onto site or you're getting off debris off site, you will be interacting with the road traffic. Are you building next to riparian reserves? Are you building a structure that will be affected by wind or any other elements? So these are the things that we say we consider at the inception stage. And a key factor of that will now be the safety element of it. So I'll give a very basic example. For example, people who are constructing their own residential houses. When you come to a residential house, how can you be safe? How can you budget for safety? So one of the factors that you need to do is when you're just thinking about, I want to put up something, look at the history of that area. Currently, in the times we are in right now, you can see areas such as Athi River have flooded. You want to put up a construction in Athi River. Is it going to flood? Is that area prone to flooding? Are you putting up a construction site next to a river? Now, with these considerations in mind, if you still want to proceed and you're legally allowed to do so even before you apply for approval permits, what are the considerations you're putting in? Should it rain? Will you be able to access site? Will you be able to evacuate people out of site? If that's already a tick, then you would say, am I within the regulated guidelines of, say, riparian reserves? Am I covering for the enough road reserve? Because you do not want a situation where you've put up maybe your hoarding being the fencing or protective material or protective fencing that you put during construction stage, you've put it on a road reserve. You expect that at some point you might likely get it demolished. These are things that compromise the safety of a site. So working in this small project, what are the safe things that we consider? We've seen a lot of sites where people are putting up a one-story house, even if it's a bungalow being a single-story dwelling, and people are roofing without appropriate gear. What gear do you ensure people have on site? You have materials delivered, steel, nails, wood, and they are just left all over the site. That means anyone who is driving in is likely to get punctures. Anyone who is walking in can likely get an injury from various metallic protruding objects, nails, and such kind of stuff. Are you wearing helmets? Are people wearing helmets? Are people wearing reflective jackets like I'm wearing? What is the importance of these things? What we are trying to do is mitigate against any accidents from happening. That is what it means to have a safe construction site. Another thing to really factor in at the budgetary stage is please prioritize a health officer for every site that you have. The reason being, when you have a health officer, someone who is just dedicated to making sure everyone who has come to site, whether to construct, at point of occupancy, at point of commissioning, whatever stage of the project it is, their only job is to think, everyone who's coming, we want them to go home safe, having earned their daily wage safely, so that we can all celebrate at the end of the project. I have had instances where we've had what you would call minuscule accidents on site that ended up becoming fatal or having very severe injuries because of very small things. where you find someone fell from the first floor because the hole wasn't covered right. People are going up to the roof and they do not have marked areas on the roof where to walk on, because they need to know you need to walk on purlins. The purlins is the mbao zenye pali vitu zimechapiliwa for every roofing material. So various experts need to know this is where you walk. You have designated areas on site for movement. You have designated areas on site for delivery of material and the likes. Let's talk about constrained site spaces. Even in constrained site spaces, you can factor in safety and health. Constrained site spaces are where you have, say in the central business district, you don't have a lot of room to wiggle, there's a lot of traffic. Can you mitigate this by making sure a lot of deliveries are done in the evenings? There's a lot of lighting provided for in that particular site. And moreover, can you cater for those sites by ensuring, other than a health and safety officer, there's someone consistently doing roll call checks, ensuring people are wearing the adequate PPE being personal protective equipment and gear. So these are helmets, safety boots, reflective jackets, gloves. And for people who are handling sensitive areas like services being plumbing and electrical, are they geared correctly? Do you have people working on naked cables when it's raining? Do you have people working on electrical live cabling without the requisite electrical gloves? Do you have people who are ensuring that anyone who is up on a ladder is harnessed properly to a fixed structure, and that person has someone else ensuring that the ladder is stabilized? Or do you have people working alone? Are you as an individual contributing to the health and safety disaster of your site? By cutting corners, by saving that 500 bob per laborer or 1,000 shilling per laborer cost that might lead to the next person being stuck and no one knows, or not anyone being evacuated. We are saying that other than regulatory bodies, which are the NEMAs, the city county governments, and all other enforcing agencies, every person who is doing any form of development, even if it's a septic tank, erection of a tank, what safety precautions are we taking? Are we ensuring that when we excavate, we leave that place marked out well, that this is an excavation site? Do we fence off that area, which is also called hoarding? Do we ensure that everyone is well catered for? When it's raining, do you ensure that places which had manholes, for example, and have flooded, that someone knows this is an open drain, it's not just a puddle of water? Because people get injured from the most minute of things. Some other factors which I have seen cropping up recently is where people try and save costs by having laborers work in basements as they construct higher rise buildings. Basements are very stuffy, they are not well ventilated, at least until completion of a project. Do you ensure these people get out to get some sunlight, that they are doing bar bending and all other tasks from above ground? Even you have space constraints. How are you taking care of these workers to mitigate against any fatalities or any injuries on site? And finally, I would also like to mention the aspect of insurance. Consider having insurances. They are not that expensive, from contractors' all risks and WIBA and any other insurance that can protect both the site, employees, the workers, and various professionals. Safety and health is not just for the workers on site, it is for you. Take care of the site as if you are the one working on it. Every life matters. Thank you.